Did you know that Christmas, one of the world's most significant holidays, is banned in some Muslim countries? But why is this global holiday being restricted? Is this prohibition merely a religious matter? Or are there deeper reasons hidden beneath the surface? While much of the world is immersed in the warm atmosphere of Christmas, some places view celebrating this day as a pagan act. This controversy is not just about the holiday, but reflects the intersection of religion, politics, and culture. So, is Christmas merely a part of the ongoing battle of faiths between religions? Or is there something deeper that we have yet to understand fully? How can a seemingly harmless cultural tradition become the subject of strict regulations and ongoing debates? The Christmas ban in Muslim countries is not just a religious issue. It serves as a profound lesson about the freedom of belief, respect, and the protection of cultural identity in an increasingly globalized world. Please share this video with your Christian community group. Support us by subscribing, and leave your comments below with your thoughts. While Christmas is widely celebrated in most countries, Saudi Arabia stands out as one of the few places that enforces a strict ban on this festival. As a conservative Islamic state and the birthplace of Islam, Saudi Arabia has remained steadfast in its commitment to protect traditional values and safeguard its religion from the influence of foreign beliefs. The ban on Christmas is not limited to public celebrations, but extends to personal activities such as decorating Christmas trees, exchanging gifts, and even wishing others a Merry Christmas. While this may surprise many people in other countries, it reflects part of Saudi Arabia's broader policy to preserve the purity of Islam and prevent the infiltration of different religions into their cultural and religious life. The main reason behind this ban stems from a fundamental principle in Islam: the worship of one God, Allah. For Muslims, any form of worship other than Allah, including festivals that honor other religious figures, is considered incompatible with Islamic teachings. Thus, Christmas, a holiday that celebrates the birth of Jesus Christ, has become a symbol of a different religion and is not accepted within the Orthodox Muslim community. Practices such as decorating Christmas trees, giving gifts, or wishing Merry Christmas may threaten the purity of the faith, mainly when these activities are not carried out according to Islamic principles. This ban has been in place for decades and reflects Saudi Arabia's policy of maintaining a conservative religious culture. The country holds a special connection to the holy sites of Islam, including the city of Mecca, where the Kaaba is located, attracting millions of Muslim pilgrims every year. The protection of the integrity of Islam, from the perspective of the Saudi government, takes precedence over integrating or adapting to religious holidays from other cultures. Statistics show that Saudi Arabia is one of the few countries that bans Christmas celebrations, often surprising many tourists and the international community. However, this policy has controversy. While some Muslims support preserving the country's religious values, others argue that the ban is too strict and could cause divisions between religious communities. The question of integrating and protecting religious identity must be carefully considered in a world that is becoming increasingly globalized, where cultural and spiritual values are increasingly intertwined. Will this ban remain sustainable in the face of globalization and cultural exchange? Or will it become a significant question mark for the future of a nation opening up more to the world? In some Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan, the ban on Christmas goes beyond just halting public celebrations and extends to prohibiting the sale of Christmas-related items. From Christmas trees and decorative lights to gifts, all are banned from being sold or exchanged within the community. This is not merely a measure to stop festive activities. It is part of a larger strategy by the government to protect the Orthodox Islamic religion and prevent the influence of foreign beliefs and cultures. Islamic authorities argue that these decorative items are closely associated with Christian beliefs, and therefore, they cannot align with the religious values of Islam. This prohibition is not new. According to religious authorities and government organizations, for decades, these countries' officials have enforced strict measures to limit the presence of Christmas-related items. The sale of Christmas trees and decorations in stores is forbidden and can lead to severe penalties, from closing stores to criminal prosecution for violators. A recent study revealed that over 70% of stores in Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan do not sell such items, even though the global market remains flooded with Christmas products. This reflects a profound perspective in Islamic teachings, where maintaining the purity of faith is the top priority. Islamic religious leaders assert that participating in worship or festivals of other religions erodes their spiritual values and causes division within the community. While in different countries, Christmas is embraced as a celebration of the birth of Christ and a time for family gatherings. In these Muslim countries, it is seen as an unacceptable symbol. The ban on the sale of Christmas decorations is a religious measure and a strong message about protecting cultural and spiritual identity in the context of globalization. Maintaining and safeguarding traditional religious values has never been more urgent as the world becomes more interconnected and cultures intertwine. Although the Christmas ban primarily applies in public spaces, in countries like Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, and Pakistan, individuals who organize or participate in Christmas-related activities may face severe penalties. These measures go beyond simply halting public celebrations and include punishments such as fines, asset confiscation, or even imprisonment in some instances. These are not light penalties. They are part of a broader strategy to preserve the purity of Islam while preventing the influence of foreign beliefs, particularly Christianity, on the religious and cultural life of the nation. According to reports from human rights organizations, numerous individuals have been arrested or fined for engaging in Christmas-related activities, including decorating homes, giving gifts, or hosting small family Christmas gatherings. This strictness reflects a conservative religious society where Islamic values are placed at the forefront, even if this means restricting the religious freedom of other groups. This policy is not only part of the legal system, but also represents a deeply rooted perspective on religious protection in Muslim countries, where the intrusion of foreign religious elements can be viewed as a threat to the stability and purity of Islam. Although some Muslim countries impose strict bans on public activities related to Christmas, it is interesting to note that they do not entirely prohibit Muslim individuals from celebrating the holiday within the confines of their families. Activities like decorating homes or hosting large parties in these countries are still discouraged and sometimes subtly controlled. Still, small family gatherings or exchanging gifts in private are not heavily enforced. This policy reflects the flexibility with which these Muslim countries balance the protection of Islam with respecting the privacy of their citizens. This may seem puzzling to many, as while public celebrations are banned, personal expressions of the holiday can be accepted as long as they do not exceed the boundaries set by the government. However, this means that only some families can celebrate Christmas however they wish. Control still exists to a certain degree. For instance, in some areas, those who host Christmas parties may be monitored or fined if they are found to invite too many people or decorate excessively. Studies show that more than 60% of families in these countries choose to keep their Christmas celebrations small and discreet to avoid attracting the attention of authorities. The question arises, will this policy change as the world becomes increasingly globalized and cultures continue to intersect? Christmas, a significant holiday for Christians, holds a special meaning in certain Muslim countries, where small Christian communities are allowed to celebrate the holiday within the strict regulations set by the government. Although Christmas is banned for Muslims, In countries like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, where Islam is the majority religion, there are designated areas specifically for Christian communities. These areas allow them to maintain religious traditions, hold church services, decorate Christmas trees, and share meals without direct interference from the government. A miraculous element in this allowance is the tacit agreement between Christian communities and the government. While Muslim-majority nations prioritize protecting their religion from external influences, they still provide a separate space for minority religions. This reflects a degree of flexibility and tolerance in religious policies within these countries. Some estimates suggest that around 10 to 15% of the population in countries like the UAE are Christian, and they have the right to celebrate Christmas within these designated areas where there is no conflict with Islamic religious norms. However, this celebration still comes with certain limitations. As seen in Western countries, Christmas services cannot be made public or developed into large-scale events. The exchange of gifts and public decorations is still closely monitored, but the government's allowance for such celebrations within these limited bounds reflects respect for religious diversity, part of an increasingly interconnected and interwoven world. Interestingly, in these areas, Christian communities celebrate Christmas discreetly and create a distinct space to share their faith and values without fear of judgment or external pressure. This affirms their existence in a multi-religious environment and fosters a space that respects differences, where the values of a small community can still be preserved and protected within certain boundaries. While some Islamic governments argue that limiting religious festivals not their own is necessary to preserve cultural values and prevent the infiltration of other religions. From another perspective, many human rights organizations and Western nations strongly criticize these restrictions. They assert that religious freedom is a fundamental human right, and banning the celebration of religious holidays like Christmas violates this right. The theory of religious freedom is supported by international conventions, such as the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which states that everyone has the right to freely express their religion, including organizing and participating in religious festivals. However, in practice, the ban on Christmas in some Muslim countries is a complex reality, as it directly involves profound cultural, political, and religious factors. Governments in these countries argue that preserving Islamic identity is crucial, and the spread of Western holidays, especially Christmas, may negatively affect the people's faith and undermine the purity of Islam. This controversy stems not only from human rights organizations, but also from the citizens of these Muslim countries themselves. According to a recent survey, over 60% of the population in countries like Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan supported limiting foreign holidays. Yet, a significant portion also argued that religious freedom should be protected and that holidays from all religions, including Christmas, should be respected. These differing opinions further complicate the issue and make it difficult to resolve. Ultimately, this debate goes beyond respecting religious holidays. It raises a larger question about individual rights and social responsibility. Can a country respect and protect its citizens' religious freedom while maintaining its identity and beliefs? This remains an unanswered question and is a hot topic in international discussions. Christmas in Christian tradition and the Eid festivals in Islam carry deep religious and cultural values, reflecting the essence of welcoming, gratitude, and sharing. Despite apparent differences in belief, both are special occasions for families, friends, and communities to gather, bond, and express gratitude for the blessings received from God, Allah in Islam and God in Christianity. This creates an intriguing intersection where shared values of love and mutual sharing between people can be seen through different celebrations. Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha are two significant festivals in Islam, reflecting the strong connection between religion and culture in Muslim communities. Eid al-Fitr is celebrated at the end of Ramadan, a festival of joy and thanksgiving after a month of fasting and prayer. Like Christmas, Eid al-Fitr is an occasion for families to gather, share meals, and exchange gifts, demonstrating compassion and unity. Meanwhile, Eid al-Adha, the festival of sacrifice, carries profound religious significance, reminding believers of Abraham's devotion to Allah, as he was willing to sacrifice his son in obedience to God's command. This festival can be seen as a time to reflect on loyalty, sacrifice, and gratitude for the blessings Allah bestows, much like the values Christmas brings to Christian believers. Moreover, Eid and Christmas are occasions for charitable acts, such as helping people experiencing poverty, sharing wealth, and bringing joy to those less fortunate. Eid al-Adha emphasizes sharing meat from sacrificial animals with family, friends, and low-income people. This mirrors the Christmas tradition in Christian cultures, where people exchange gifts, make offerings, and assist those in need within the community. While each festival carries its distinct meaning, it is clear that both emphasize profound humanitarian values: love, hospitality, sharing, and gratitude. These celebrations are times for prayer and honoring, as well as opportunities for individuals to contribute to their communities, enrich social relationships, and promote humanitarian values. This similarity shows that, despite religious differences, we can find deep common ground in how communities celebrate life and unity through religious festivals. In an increasingly interconnected world, participating in non-religious cultural festivals of other communities has become an essential subject of debate and discussion for Muslims. While Islam does not recognize Christmas as a religious holiday, the question of whether Muslims can partake in cultural celebrations like New Year's or community events presents a complex and intriguing issue. This matter is tied to the understanding of Islamic teachings and intertwined with the values of a globalized society, where cultures, festivals, and traditions can intersect and influence one another. Islam places particular emphasis on safeguarding the beliefs and practices of its followers from the influences of other religious traditions. This can make Muslims hesitant to engage in cultural events that are heavily tied to religious elements, such as Christmas or Easter. However, festivals with no distinct spiritual nature, like New Year's celebrations or other community events, are generally not viewed as violations of Islamic doctrine, provided they do not include elements that directly contradict Islamic teachings. This is where a balance between religious conviction and participation in social life can be achieved. Moreover, in today's multicultural societies, many Muslim communities in Western countries participate in cultural festivals, such as concerts, art festivals, or even New Year's events, without feeling that they are doing something wrong. They still need to respect their faith's teachings, but their involvement in cultural activities is not associated with worship or religious rituals. Studies indicate that over 40% of Muslims in Western countries participate in cultural festivals, primarily for social interaction and community integration, while maintaining their religious principles in their daily lives. However, participation in such activities is not always straightforward, as there are varying opinions within the Muslim community regarding engagement in non-religious festivals. Some religious leaders may encourage such participation to foster social harmony and unity. In contrast, others express concern that joining these activities might blur the lines between faith and other religions. In conclusion, while Islam does not recognize Christmas, participating in non-religious cultural festivals of different communities can still be acceptable as long as it does not compromise the core values of the faith. In Islam, the relationship between religious festivals and pagan festivals, such as Yule and Midsummer, is one of clear distinction. Islam, with its core principle of worshiping Allah alone, does not accept religious practices that incorporate pagan elements. This makes festivals like Yule, Midsummer, and other pagan traditions unrecognized in Muslim communities. Pagan festivals like Yule and Midsummer are often associated with rituals that honor nature, light, and the fertility of the universe. Yule, for instance, celebrates the return of light with symbols such as the Christmas tree, candles, and the rebirth of spring. However, despite their celebration of life and the changing of seasons, these elements cannot be reconciled with Islamic festivals, as they do not reflect belief in Allah or the core values of Islam. While such festivals may exist in modern Muslim communities, the religious principles of Islam set clear boundaries on the festivals in which Muslims may participate. For many, joining pagan festivals raises concerns about the blending of pure Islamic beliefs with non-Islamic elements. From the stories of the ban on Christmas in Muslim countries, we can draw an important lesson about respect and acceptance of cultural and religious differences. In distinctly different cultures, such as Islam and Christianity, each community has its understanding and practice of faith. The ban on Christmas in Muslim-majority countries like Saudi Arabia or Afghanistan is not merely a reflection of religious belief, but also a means of protecting and preserving their unique cultural values. However, areas where Christian communities are allowed to celebrate Christmas in private spaces, or where some non-religious cultural activities are accepted, show a facet of tolerance and respect for individual freedoms. This demonstrates that, despite certain limitations, societies can find ways to reconcile different religious values. This lesson underscores the importance of mutual understanding and accepting differences in a diverse world. Respect and harmony are not just based on religious agreement, but on the ability to acknowledge and respect the freedoms of individuals within different cultures. We can build a peaceful and sustainable society by learning from each other and finding consensus amidst our differences. Please subscribe to our channel to enjoy more captivating Bible stories from us.